Good evening. That was great. Welcome to the 2024 Jane Addams Peace Association Children's Book Awards. I'm Angela Medina, the Executive Director of the Jane Addams Peace Association. Today we are here to celebrate the powerful and rich stories shared by the talented authors and artists before you. Our esteemed Children's Book Selection Committee members have chosen one book winner and 2 honor books within the following 2 categories: picture book and chapter book. Members of the selection committee will introduce each of these books, followed by the book's creators, who will each share a few words. For the last 15 minutes, we will conduct a live Q&A session, followed by our raffle and book giveaway for all the children who are in the audience today. Books will also be available for purchase from Hudson Valley Books for Humanity owner Amy Hall. And authors and artists will be autographing them after the ceremony. The highlighted books selected share the message of unsung heroes of the civil rights movement, the eye-opening and painful history of the Confederate flag, and the power of art and activism. Our chapter books share compelling stories, including the survival of 3 young cousins during the 1930s Soviet famine that killed millions of Ukrainians, the various perspectives of middle school students on Native American culture, used as mascots for sports teams, and the power of a daughter and her friends fighting for social justice and equity for the LGBTQIA community during the 1980s AIDS crisis. Through these written stories and illustrations, the authors and artists demonstrate how the power of our voices can promote social change, leading the way toward a more just and equitable world. This is a great day to celebrate the authors and artists who, through their books, help us to gain perspective on the human condition, encouraging understanding, compassion, and fairness for all. As we celebrate, I want to thank our wonderful board of directors. Raise your hands, let's see you, board of directors. For their support, several of whom are here today. And most importantly, I extend thanks to the selection committee members who behind the scenes read countless books and spend many hours selecting our honor books and winners each year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now please welcome Janice Mateo Toledo, Vice President of the Board of Directors, who will share a few words.
Hey everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. My name is Janice Mateo Toledo, and I'm the Vice President of the Jane Addams Peace Association. And on behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome you to the 71st Annual Children's Book Award. As Angela mentioned earlier, tonight we're delighted to be joined by members of our board. And I'm going to actually ask each one of you to stand because I really think that you need to be acknowledged. So Jeffrey Marino is here. Jackie Gordon is here. He's live streaming. We have Letitia Clark who's here. And Thank you. And we're also joined by our Children's Book Award committee members. So we have Lanisha Nunez, Gloria Guzman, Sunny Reed, and we have Marita Fishimara. Thank you to all. And we have Natasha Gray. My God. This is a very small representation of our membership. Please take note that there's a complete list of these outstanding people that appears in your program, and we're thankful for their time and commitment to the organization. The Jane Addams Peace Association envisions a future where people actively work to dismantle injustices and build a more peaceful, equitable world. We also believe in the importance of deepening our understanding of peace and justice for children through reflection, dialogue, and social action. It is our hope that the Children's Book Award winners and honor books continue to be a way to navigate difficult conversations with children and their adults. That they emerge from those discussions with a deeper understanding of what they believe and what they can do to be true to themselves and help in their communities. So I would now like to take a moment to recognize our sponsors for this evening. We especially wish to thank our champion sponsor, Peg Dunham, who established the Hastings Peace and Justice Fund, and her children Dick Dunham and Ann Ebert, who continue to support the annual Children's Book Award and its honoraria for the book creators. We'd also like to thank our visionary sponsors, Release Heaven on Earth and Impact Consulting, our impact sponsor, Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh, our Trailblazer sponsors, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Psi Lambda Omega Chapter in Brooklyn, New York, Tina and David Bannis, Susan Fries, the Lawrence family, Larry Medina, and Noemia, Julie, and Charlotte Santos. We'd also like to thank our friends of Jane Addams Peace Association sponsors who are listed in the program. And finally, I'd like to thank our publishers, Macmillan Publishers, Little Brown and Company Books for Young Readers, Charles Bridge Press, Penguin Young Readers, and Harper Collins Publishers. And last but not least, the board would like to extend a special thank you to our Executive Director, Angela Medina. Her hard work and commitment to our mission and values has taken the organization to new heights, and we're grateful for her vision and leadership. So thank you once again for being here with us, and we hope you enjoy the evening.
For our first book, I would like to introduce Natasha Gray. Natasha.
Thank you, Angela, for the very warm welcome. As she said, my name is Natasha Gray, and this year I humbly serve as the co-chair for the Jane Addams Children's Book Award Committee. It is with great pleasure that I commence our award ceremony by presenting one of the 2024 Jane Addams Children's Picture Book Honor titles, The Artivist. Written and illustrated by Nikkolas Smith and published by Penguin Random House. The Artivist is a powerful and thought-provoking autobiographical picture book. It immerses readers in the journey of a young Nikkolas Smith who's moving from artist to artivist. He has two loves, painting and his community. Through the eyes of others, he discovers the impact his art can have on the community that he deeply loves, as well as the greater world. The neighborhood becomes his canvas, painting with the most beautiful yet somber shades of purple and blue to symbolize the profound inequities he's observed in his young life. He swells with emotions and must act. He brushes, and it becomes his tool to call out acts of racism, hate, waste, and greed seen around the world. We see vivid images that hope to open the eyes of all so that we can see what is not right around us. His murals call out the injustices of the world and serve as a means of holding up a mirror to society, prompting reflection and change. His poignant words and love for art confront the ills he sees around him, and his small hands begin to make a big difference. The focus on the importance of community and global responsibility resonated with the committee, and it upholds the Jane Addams representation, all the words that we know of Jane Addams, inviting readers to go beyond the surface and to look deeper for solutions. Only then can we imagine and build a world where everyone can thrive. The Artivist is not just a story about a boy with a paintbrush. It calls to action all of us. By empowering children to see themselves as agents of change, the book encourages a new generation to dream of a better world and to take steps to make it a reality. With its inspiring narrative and impactful artwork, The Artivist reminds us that, again, even the smallest hands, the smallest voices, can be the loudest advocates for equity and justice. So we celebrate this title, which is sure to inspire other young artivists to uniquely make a difference in this world. Thank you, Nikkolas Smith, 2024 Jane Addams Children's Picture Book Award recipient.
Hello, Nikkolas Smith here. Thank you so much, Jane Addams Peace Association, for the honors for that flag and the Artivist. These are two books that are so special to me. For my career, I've been creating art that talks about the importance of uncovering the truth about U.S. history for that flag. And, for the Artivist, it really is a culmination of my 10 plus years of artivism and creating art to make a positive change in the world. And so it's super special for me, for these honors, and for all the kids who have been taking these books in, learning about the history of America, learning how to use their creativity to make positive change in the world. It is so special. So thank you so much. Thank you.
The next book, we have selection committee member Dora Wilmar.
Hi, my name is Dora Guzman. I'm one of the selection committee members for this year, and I have the honor and privilege to present the award for the honoree for that flag, written by Tameka Brown, illustrated by Nikkolas. Best friends Carrie and Bianca find a barrier to their friendship at home. The first pages of this picture book introduce the characters and the author's intent to spark transformative change. A class trip to the Southern Legacy Museum becomes a turning point as Kira grapples with new understanding and her reaction to her best friend, Bianca's reaction to the Confederate flag, which then leads to a lack of response. This begins the events that engage the characters and readers in dialogue for change. The illustration's use of light and depth captures the characters' complex motions throughout the story. Our selection committee strongly believes that this powerful and wonderfully illustrated picture book presents a difficult conversation about the Confederate flag and its history in the United States in a way that's accessible and engaging for all readers. It also realistically portrays how Black children confront racial issues from a young age. More importantly, it also engages the adults in conversations in their journey about race and understanding. And this is why we selected it as an honoree for this year.
The Jane Addams Peace Association and the 2024 Children's Book Award Selection Committee, thank you so much for choosing that flag to receive this phenomenal honor. Everyone involved in the creation of that flag was intent on creating a work of art that would inspire conversation among young readers and their adults. Conversations based on facts and truth that would lead to shared understanding and positive change. It actually took a while for this book to see the light of day. I first wrote it back in 2015, following the Charleston church shootings. But with the benefit of hindsight, I now know that it came into existence exactly when and how it was supposed to. My granny used to say, God may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. So I'm thankful to God that it's right timing. I would also like to thank my editor, Luana Horry, and Harper for believing in the importance of publishing that flag. And also, Artivist Nikkolas Smith, in collaboration with art director Rachel Zager, for bringing the words of the story to beautiful and poignant life. And to my partner in all things literary, my agent, Marietta B. Zacher, I am eternally grateful. Thank you, Marietta, for consistently seeing the value in my stories, in my voice, and for your passion in making sure that others do too. Of course, I want to thank my family for always being my first and my proudest and my loudest cheerleaders. But for this book, I I especially want to thank all of the educators and literacy advocates, the children's book content creators, and the social justice warriors who have celebrated and enthusiastically spread the word about that flag, and they continue to do so. Thank you so much, because change making is a team effort. We all have a role to play in making sure that our children, and that's all of our children, know, understand, and value truth. This is necessary work because truth is foundational to justice and equity. It promotes peace, it sets and it keeps us all free. So thank you again, Jane Addams Peace Association, for all of the work that you do in service to justice, equity, inclusion, peace, and freedom. And thank you again for this honor. Have a great evening.
Next, we have the chair of the selection committee, Nanisha Luis. Good evening, everyone. As Angela said, my name is Nanisha Nunes. I'm a proud teacher of fourth graders and the K-12 equity leader of Ardsley School District. I get to present a song for the Unsung, Bayard Rustin, the man behind the 1963 March on Washington. Exactly. It's a poignant and powerful picture book that not only illuminates the life of a hidden hero of the civil rights movement and organizer of the renowned March on Washington, but also serves as a catalyst for meaningful dialogue and reflection on issues of equity and justice. Authored by Carole, Weatherford, and Rob Sanders, with illustrations by Byron McCray, this book stands as a beacon of literary, visual, and aesthetic excellence. Weatherford and Sanders masterfully weave together the story of Bayard Rustin's life, starting with his early years being raised by his Quaker grandmother, where Rustin was ushered into the world of pacifism. Later, he was imprisoned as a conscientious objector during World War II, and then traveled to India to learn from Gandhi's followers. In fact, Rustin was actually the person who introduced Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to the principles of nonviolent protest. I can continue to go on and tell you all that I learned through this lyrical prose and engaging narrative, but I will say these authors truly capture the essence of Rustin's courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment to justice, even when those alongside the fight for the civil rights movement wanted to sideline him for being a gay man. Byron McCray's illustrations include collages that incorporate acrylics, scraps of newspaper, music, and decorated pages that really breathe life into Rustin's story, capturing both the triumphs and the struggles of his journey. The vibrant colors and dynamic compositions draw readers in, while subtle details convey the complexity of Rustin's experiences and the era in which he lived. The use of quotes from Rustin himself add depth and authenticity to the narrative, allowing readers to connect more deeply with his words and his legacy. McCray's artwork evokes emotion and provokes thought in readers of all ages by capturing the deep and widespread turbulence of the time and the grandeur and inspiration of the march. Through Rustin's example of what a commitment to nonviolent protest looks like, readers are inspired to respond creatively and humanely to injustice and conflict, to confront and dismantle systems of oppression, including racism and homophobia. This biography holds up a mirror which requires readers to self-examine and ask themselves, what does true solidarity and allyship look like in their personal fight for justice? Overall, A Song for the Unsung is a remarkable achievement, a testament to the enduring power of storytelling to provoke thought, inspire action, promote empathy and understanding. It is a must-read for all ages, offering a timeless message of hope, resilience, and the transformative potential of collective activism. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce our 2024 Picture Book winner, Byron McCray.
That's overwhelming. No one's ever spoken about. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. It is such an honor to share this acceptance of this award that stands for peace, social justice, equality, and community. Everything that the March on Washington took place to realize. Thank you to the Jane Addams Peace Association and the selection committee for this recognition. Co-authors Carole, Rustin, Weatherford, and Rob Sanders for meeting for the first time today. For your melodic collaboration. It was brilliant work, and it's an honor to work with you on this. Kate Burrell and the McMillan family and my super agent, Ruben Pepper. I'm so thankful. The illustration of this book happened during unprecedented time during the pandemic. But I thank this team for trusting me with my first professional illustration job. Especially to bring visuals to an unprecedented love song to a change agent and a true American hero. For the images, it was important to me that spirituals were woven into each page, not just really ministering to myself, but also to those reading it during a challenging time. Lift every voice, and ain't nobody gonna turn me around. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Sheet music and lyrics can be seen throughout the entire book. And that was intentional, just setting the rhythm, setting the tempo, the beat of Bayard Rustin's mission. So, selfishly, I wrote my own family into history. My late mother is on the cover, so this is And very emotional. And lastly, I just want to thank Mr. Byard Rustin, the brave and bold Byard Rustin. It has been a privilege to draw closer to him. Tracing the similarities between us as I've learned more and more about him, and as a Black gay man who often supports others' dreams from behind the scenes through my artwork. It's not lost upon me the roads that he paved and the sacrifices that he made for me to stand here today. I am because he was. So this is the Bible.
That was incredible. Thank you, Byron. And now I'll introduce Rob Sanders, who will accept the award on his behalf and also on Carole's behalf. Rob.
Well, Byron has got me choked up. Old people are like that. We're easily made emotional. Thank you so much to the Board of Directors of the Jane Addams Peace Association and to this year's selection committee. I got to have lunch with and got to learn a little bit about lots of educators in that group. And I'm one as well, so that's wonderful. On behalf of Carole Boston Weatherford, who wishes she could be here, and me, Byron, and our agent that we all three share, Ruben Pepper, a very unusual thing with a picture book. Kate, Carole, our editor, all the fine folks at Holt. We are grateful for this honor. Carole and I have been writer friends for years, even before we shared the same agent. And I have had the opportunity to teach with Carole. I don't know that she's had the opportunity to teach with me, but I've had the opportunity to teach with her. Once in the mountains of Pennsylvania, after our teaching duties had ended, we chatted and dreamed of writing a book together. A book that would bring, our two voices together. Carole's voice from her African-American tradition, her heritage, and her knowledge of the civil rights movement, and my voice that speaks as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community and brings with it my passion to document our history. Each evening that week, Carole and I would sit in rocking chairs outside a cabin, writing down on a computer our thoughts, our ideas, our research, our words, our snatches of sentences, until it got too dark that we couldn't work, and that became Song for the Unsung. In every generation, in every movement, in every effort to make the world better, in every attempt to create peace, there are unsung heroes. They're the ones like Bayard, who do not seek recognition, do not rush to the microphone, do not command or demand attention. They go about their work quietly, powerfully, consistently. We are probably in the midst of some of those people tonight, truth be told. I feel indebted to all those unsung heroes. Byron spent his entire life working peacefully to make change in the world and in the lives of individuals. Carole and I wrote one story. There are lots more stories to tell about Byard, just like there are other unsung heroes whose stories need to be discovered, told, and celebrated. I thought it would be fitting to end tonight with some of Byard's words. Unfortunately, I couldn't settle on just one quote, so I'm going to share three. The proof that one truly believes is in action. Let us be enraged about injustice, but let us not be destroyed by it. When an individual is protesting society's refusal to acknowledge the dignity as an individual, his very act of protest confers dignity on him. So, I like to think of our work as a form of protest, and that your honor has brought dignity to us in our work. Thank you again for this incredible honor. Thank you to Bayard and to all the unsung heroes, past, present, and future.
That concludes our picture book category. Now we are going to move on to our chapter books. And I would like to introduce Selection Committee member Unsung.
Hello everyone, it is my honor to present World Made of Glass, written by Amy Polanski, who is here tonight with us. Published by World Made of Glass is a story of a 12-year-old girl, Iris Cohen, in 1987 in New York City. Iris tries to pretend everything is okay, but she's not. She has been going through a lot lately. Her father came out, her parents got divorced, and her father's boyfriend, JR, is a new adult in Iris' life. Out of all the recent changes, her father's dying of AIDS is what makes Iris' life hard. Iris cannot share her father's illness when people believe misinformation about AIDS and have unreasonable fear. For instance, Iris gets splintered accidentally at school and her teacher panics about it because she can see a tiny bit of blood on Iris' finger. It is not easy for Iris to stand up when she is breathing her lungs, but she takes up her courage and speaks out. Iris' story introduces readers to homophobia that was prevalent in the 1980s, which can lead them to reflect on homophobia present in today's society. More importantly, World Made of Glass invites readers to think about the danger of misinformation and prejudice and how it can affect people's lives. So now I present you Amy Polanski.
Okay, thank you so much. writing about a book about a young girl grappling with her dad's death from AIDS converged for me both with COVID, another pandemic, and also the beginning of the most recent historical wave of discrimination against the trans community. And as a very close ally to a trans family member, I was unfortunately able to draw all too closely from the historical instances of discrimination against the LGBTQ community when I was writing my book. So for better or worse, I was able to channel what I refer to as my ragey allyship without any difficulty into Iris's character. And she and I actually have more in common in that sense than any other character I've ever written. So one thing that's difficult to think about is that in children's books, there's always a resolution at the end of the book. And what we have to leave out, because otherwise the books would be a million pages long, is what it takes to get there, to that resolution, to get to that victory. There are all the micro battles, the battles that we win and then the battles that we lose. And that gets left out when we tell a story about activism, because we need to wrap everything up into the package of a middle grade novel. So I want to thank the Jane Addams Peace Association, the board of directors, the selection committee, my agent, Wendy Schmaltz, Little Brown Books for Young Readers, for helping to fight those battles, because all of the victories, even if they seem small, they're not, especially when it comes to putting books into children's hands. Those victories really mean everything. So thank you to everybody.
Next book, we have Morika Sujimura.
Hi, I'm Morika Tsujimura. I am the junior kindergarten through 8th grade science department chair at Grace Church School in Manhattan. I teach middle school science, and so when we were talking about middle grade books, it gets me so excited. I love middle school, and I have the great honor of introducing the book Mascot. Mascot, written by Charles Waters and Tracy Sorrell, and published by Charles Bridge, is a novel in verse about suburban middle schoolers grappling with whether or not their team mascot is racist. Even while the name of the mascot itself is not necessarily a slur, through debate, research, conversations, and introspection, the students come to understand that any benefits of local sports fandom across generations are grossly outweighed by the concrete harm perpetrated by the historical and ongoing dehumanization of Native Americans. The inner lives of the young adolescents and their changing opinions are expertly conveyed by the co-authors using alternating voices. While presented by a diverse cast of characters, the story centers Callie, a Cherokee girl who is unwavering in her sense of self, but flexible in coalition building for a common goal. Even when a character is in the wrong, their feelings and reasoning are presented with nuance and relatability. With direct language from the middle schoolers' perspectives, Sorrell and Waters artfully communicate the cognitive dissonance it takes to justify racist traditions, drawing parallels with the confusing time of life that is 8th grade, when one often struggles to figure out who they are and what they stand for. Mascot shows young readers a nonviolent way through a serious current issue, encouraging agency, activism, and perseverance to build the better world they want and deserve.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charles Waters. I'm the co-writer of Mascot with Tracy Sorrell. To receive a Jane Addams award means a great deal, not only to myself, but for all the good, hardworking people at Charles Bridge, a publisher, who took a chance on this book. I'd like to thank a few people. one of which is the Highlights Foundation. The Highlights Foundation is a foundation where creatives can get together and work on books and take seminars and learn a great deal. Tracy and I met in 2017 in June at a novel and verse workshop. Both of our debut books would come out the next year, and we bonded over books, over the excitement of our debut books coming out. And around 2019, I thought Tracy would be a good person to work on this idea that I had for many years about the mascot issue in our world. And so I reached out to her in February of 2019, and thank goodness she said yes, because if she had said no, this book would not have happened. I am deeply grateful to Tracy Sorrell for her friendship, for her kindness, for her support. Karen Boss is the person who edited this book. Karen Boss is knowledgeable, she's kind, she's direct, she has a big heart. And this book would not have happened without her care and guidance during the editorial process. Diane Early helped the book, because she's the creative director at Charlesbridge. She helped the book become what it became to be. And so I thank her, Nicole Neidhart, who did the incredible cover, Donna Spurlock, Meg Quinn, Jaleesa Burwell, and the entire team at Charlesbridge. Charlesbridge is a class organization. They have supported this book from day one. They've had Tracy and I on book tours, getting the book out to as many people as possible. You're only as good, everybody, as the people you work with. And I am deeply honored to be in the world where all these issues that have sort of not been talked about are being talked about now, because the only way we're going to move forward as a society is respectful dialogue. So once again, I thank you. I wish I could be there for you. I used to live in Manhattan, and I've actually visited your library multiple times because I have friends in the area who live probably about 5 minutes from you. That's Lisa Foderero and Don Pollard, who've always been kind to me throughout the years. I guess you could say I got started as a writer because of Lisa Foderero's mother, Tinker Foderero, who was my college professor in journalism at Fairleigh Dickinson University. And she's the one who got me to start thinking about reading. And I'm deeply grateful to her too. And once again, I thank you all. If I talk too long, forgive me.
CEO Tracy Sorrell, Ragbado, G2Lab. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell, Cherokee Nation citizen and co-author of Mascot. I want to, from the bottom of my heart, say how grateful I am, Allieda, to the Jane Addams Peace Association and to the Jane Addams Children's Book Award Committee for selecting Mascot among the honor titles this year. Every year I await with great anticipation what finalists will be on the list, and then later who are the honorees and the winners in the categories, because I know I'm going to have fantastic books that I want to read and also recommend to others. And to be included as a finalist previously, and this year to have a book be an honor is incredible. So again, my deep gratitude for that. Certainly, as my co-author Charles and I looked to craft this book, we wanted first and foremost for young people to feel empowered to use their voices. That even if they're in an educational environment that may have the use of native-themed mascots, or it may not. There may be other issues that are present. Certainly, any issue they come upon requires reflection, requires dialogue, and will require action. And those actions that are taken and the dialogues that take place hopefully can take place with respect and with care for each other and focusing on our collective humanity. But as the young people in this story experience, there's a lot of conflict that goes on within families and within classrooms, within communities, and that certainly is part of life. And so we hope that around the topic of native-themed mascots and their use in K-12 education, young people understand that it is an issue with a lot of different viewpoints and sides and the way people come to that topic, and also illuminating them that, a lot of research has been done on this topic. And so we hope that they are not only informed, but like I say, encouraged to have dialogues about this issue and others in their school environment and in their communities. But more importantly, it's not something for just older teens or adults. Younger people have a voice, and we want them to feel empowered to raise theirs too. Again,
Last but not least, we have our final book for this part of our ceremony. And I want to introduce again, or reintroduce, Marisha Nunez. It's my great honor to introduce to you The Lost Year, written by Catherine March, and the 2023 recipient award for our chapter book category. The Lost Year, written by Catherine March, is a transformative historical fiction novel blending the COVID pandemic and the famine of 1930s Ukraine while amplifying the virtue of storytelling across generations. In this masterful work, Catherine March stands as a luminary, adeptly weaving intricate narratives that resonate deeply with readers of all ages. This book captures the essence of adolescence with honesty and empathy. Set against the backdrop of a tumultuous period in history, the novel follows the journey of a protagonist navigating the challenges of identity, belonging, and the search for meaning in a rapidly changing world in multiple time periods. Drawing upon her extensive research and keen insight into human nature, Marsh deftly explores the intricate dynamics of relationships, offering readers a glimpse into the complexities of love, loss, and the resilience of human spirit. In The Lost Year, Catherine March invites us to embark on a journey of self-discovery, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. As we eagerly turn the pages of her latest masterpiece, we are reminded of the profound impact that storytelling can have in illuminating the depths of our shared humanity. It's my great honor to introduce to you Catherine March.
So, first of all, this blows the National Book Awards out of the water. I won this one because you have the Rice Krispies. They're amazing. All right, I gotta put on my glasses. So, I thank you so much for this to the I can't even talk. Jane Addams Association, to the award committee, to the board of directors, Angela Medina, Nisha, Natasha, everyone who I've met today. You've just been so wonderful in your hospitality and your kindness. I want to thank my editors at Macmillan, Jennifer Besser and Kate Meltzer, my agent, Alex Glass, I want to thank my fellow winners and honor book celebrants for your voices and talents, because this is a really hard job. And when I hear all of the amazing work that you've put into your books, and when I read these books, I'm just so proud to be up here with you. I want to thank my family in Washington, Maine, and in Ukraine. And finally, I just want to thank all the educators here, because what you do is the most foundational piece. I am a huge advocate, obviously, of reading, and not just because it pays my bills, but because I think it's the skill that allows us to step into other people's shoes, and teachers are the ones, they are the connectors, the teachers and librarians who bring books to kids. It is such an honor for this Yonkers girl to be here. I grew up in New York. My first memories were of this river, because I was living in upstate New York when I was very small, right near the Hudson River. And in New York City, the ghosts on East 10th Street, where my Ukrainian grandmother and Belarusian grandfather had a bar, are drinking on the house tonight. As you might guess, I love history. And of course, upon hearing the news about this award, I immediately went and started to research the history of the person behind the award. And obviously, as someone who loves history, I knew that Jane Addams had started Hull House, that it was a refuge for immigrants, particularly poor women who lacked education. And that really touched my heart as the granddaughter of just such a woman who came to this country from Ukraine with what barely amounted to a 4th grade education. And she started her American journey actually in Chicago, where she worked as a maid. And I was just telling Ross about that. Correct me if I get any of the Jane Addams details wrong. So the other detail that caught my attention when I was reading about the award itself was that one of the original criteria back in 1953 for this award was that the work should be a strong statement of faith in people. When monstrous events happen, events perpetrated by people, how do we keep that faith? That was the central question for me that I set out to think about when I wrote The Lost Year. This book deals with Holodomor, which is the Ukrainian name for the man-made famine of 1932-33. And Stalin and his henchmen, as all of you know who've read this book now, knowingly starved millions of Ukrainians. And this was something I grew up knowing about from my grandmother, from she had family still in Ukraine, but very few people had heard about it. And I really wanted to explore why this was such an unknown catastrophe. Stalin used food as a political weapon. He divided people into us versus them thinking. Everyone was either with you or against you. He created a class of people who thought of themselves as righteous avengers and persecuted and terrorized other people, forcing them to make really painful moral and ethical decisions to survive if they survived at all. Soviet propaganda and disinformation destroyed people's faith in their neighbors, in their friends, and even in their family members. This isn't just history. As we all know, monstrous events continue to happen, perpetrated by people. In Ukraine today, in the Middle East, in many other places, we see this. Disinformation and division are happening even here in our own country. How do we stay present in the world and not withdraw into ourselves? How do we not lose faith in humanity? How do we not fall into despair? These were the questions I set out to ask, and they seemed even more urgent today. So let's go back to Jane Addams for a minute, a word about her. This was something else I found out. She wanted to be a doctor, which is very rare for women to be a doctor in the 19th century, but she had a fairly progressive family and they encouraged her. But she had lifelong health problems. And she tried. She went to medical school and she just couldn't hack it and she had a nervous breakdown. She fell into a really deep, dark depression. And what I realized that her work, her activism, wasn't a product of optimism. It was a response to despair. And I think that was really important when I realized that, because we're living in a time where there is a terrible mental health crisis among our young people. And there is a sense that that despair is overwhelming. But despair can also be a starting point. I don't consider myself actually an activist like Jane Addams. I consider myself a humanist. I use stories to reflect the complexity and at times the sheer horror of the human condition. But activism and humanism come from the same wellspring, which is faith in people. The Lost Year is about how we weather and emerge from dark times through that faith. Faith that we're more alike than we are different. Faith that we can change and grow, like Gigi in The Lost Year, for those of you who read it, up till the very end. Faith, most of all, that people matter, each of their stories, every single one of their voices. This is the incredible power of literature. It's why Stalin banned so many books. Never trust book banners, by the way. It's also why I wrote mine. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for recognizing it today. Thank you.
I think this is a perfect time to take a 5-minute break. For those of you who have not read any of these books, I've read them all. It's part of my job. But please, take a minute, have a snack, get a glass of wine if you're over 18 or 21 now. I think that's the age. We have Amy Hall. I just want to say something, because I called Amy and I needed a bookseller, and I was kind of at the 11th hour and I couldn't find somebody. And right away Amy said to me, Jane Addams Peace Association, I'll be there. And I think, something that we think about when just things kind of go full circle is that Amy's brother was a 1993 honor book winner of the Jane Addams Peace Association. So I just wanted to honor him and thank you for coming and being here at the last hour for me today. I really appreciate it. Jane Addams Peace Association appreciates it. And to continue to share our books in your bookstore, which I hope if you live in the area, please go take a drive and visit her bookstore. Books are here to sell, so if you're interested in purchasing books, we're going to take 5 minutes, have a snack. We also have a raffle. Francis, are you there? Hi, friend. Okay, Francis is going to be at the raffle table, I think. Yes? Okay. If $10 for a raffle, you can win. We have a book. All books are in each basket, so you got 6 books of each of these winner and honors, including some other items in there. One is more kid-friendly, one is more adult-friendly. There is no alcohol in either, I will tell you that. And so please, all the proceeds go to Jane Addams Peace Association. They do support our Books in Their Hands program, where we go into low-income communities where they do not have budgets to have authors. Many of these kids have never met an author, and we pay for an author to come and we donate a book to each kid who is in the classroom. So that's where all the proceeds go. None of them come to me or anybody else. So please take 5 minutes, and then we're going to have our authors and illustrators sit up here, and we'll do a quick 15-minute Q&A. Okay? Sounds good. Thank you. Oh, sorry. One more thing. If you purchase a book, authors and illustrators will be here to sign any books. Thank you.